And this thing right here is called Catalan's constant, because Catalan, no, you don't write Catalan with a G in front, you write it with a C. Why would you give it the name G? This really doesn't make any sense. Good morning, fellow mathematicians. We are going to derive the Taylor series expansion for the inverse tangent today. And in one fell swoop, we are also going to evaluate Catalan's constant today. Not really evaluate, you can just numerically approximate Catalan's constant. It's approximately 1, so meaning pi over 3 or e over 2. But since pi is equal to e, it's also e over 3 or pi over 2. Never mind. Yeah. This Catalan's constant pops up in integration problems all the time. So if you ever did integration, then you might have seen this piece of shit pop up somewhere. So yeah, be prepared for that. At first we are going to derive the inverse tangent Taylor series expansion today, using the geometric series basically. So I want you guys to remember that if we have the integral of, well, dx over 1 plus x squared, we're going to end up with the inverse tangent plus some arbitrary constant c. We don't want to talk about this arbitrary constant. You can also just integrate this from 0 to t, for example, to end up with the inverse tangent of t. Or you can just don't give a shit about the constant and just evaluate it like this. Never mind. If we are in a valid interval, for example from 0 to 1, we can actually turn this into the Taylor series. Remember, 1 over 1 plus x squared is nothing but 1 over 1 minus negative x squared. And well, if our interval is valid, then we are going to end up with an infinite series running from 0 to infinity, one infinity boy of negative x squared to the kth power. We can just write this out to get this infinity boy of negative 1 to the kth power, x to the 2kth power. Okay, this is where it is, and we can plug this into here actually. We're going to end up with an integral running from, okay, sum from k equals to 0 to infinity, a series of negative 1 to the kth power x to the 2kth power integrated with respect to x. Under certain conditions you can interchange the integral and this summation right here, this infinite series. It depends on your conditions. You can probably just take a look at the dominant convergence theorem, or since x squared is a polynomial, you can probably do something with uniform convergence. Something like this, I really don't know. But under certain conditions you can actually interchange the integral and this infinite summation right here. Also you can bring this negative 1 to the kth power to the outside, and then we can simply integrate x to the 2kth power with respect to x. Integrating this is really quite easy. This is going to give us 1 over 2k plus 1, x to the 2k plus 1 power. Okay, so this is what it is. And yeah, this way we have actually derived the Taylor series expansion for our, let me write this out real quick, inverse tangent. This is our Taylor series expansion, like I said, plus some arbitrary constant c, or you can just integrate from 0 to t. It really doesn't change a thing. You might notice if you plug 0 into here, this is all something x to some power plus blah 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 minus blah blah blah, and it's just going to be 0. That's why the second part would actually vanish. Yeah, we have found this out. I'm going to write it out a little bit. We are actually going to get, okay, this is x to the first power. Then we are going to have negative, okay, if we plug 1 into here, x to the third power over 3, and then we have positive x to the 5th power over 5, negative x to the 7th power over 7 plus dot dot dot. Why not divide both sides by x right here? Then we get the inverse tangent of x over x. If x is not equal to 0, it's not in this case, we don't want this, so the inverse tangent of x over x is nothing but, well, this infinite series that we have right here. So 1 minus x squared over 3 plus x to the 4th power over 5 minus x to the 6th power over 7 plus dot dot dot. In different terms we can just write this out once again. compress it together a little bit, not write it out as just our sum running from, in this case, yeah, still 0, nothing really changed, to infinity, -1 to the kth power over 2k plus 1 x to the 2kth power. Okay, and now I would like to integrate this thing right here from 0 to 1 and see what we get. And this thing right here is something that you might want to only integrate using Taylor series, because this can pose many problems, or you can choose complex analysis and see if you can get something out of it easily. Okay, then we have the integral from 0 to 1 of, well, this infinite summation right here once again, from 0 to infinity of -1 to the kth power over 2k plus 1 x to the 2kth power integrated with respect to x. Once again, I would like to interchange the summation and this integral right here. Let's be serious right here. You really have to find good counterexamples to... You really have to think really hard to piss someone off with this interchange of limits. Most of the times you have to think really hard about counterexamples to even find something that doesn't work out. And in most cases it just does work out. That's why I'm not going to justify it all the time. It's just damn annoying and I don't have the time for that. So yeah, let's bring this chunk to the outside and integrate this right here. That's nothing but sum running from k equals to 0 to infinity. -1 to the kth power over 2k plus 1, integral from 0 to 1, x to the 2kth power dx. Integrating this right here is actually really easy once again. We already derived this before. We are going to get sum running from 0 to infinity, our good old infinity boy, -1 to the kth power over 2k plus 1 squared. So this is the factor we would get here, x to the 2k plus 1th power from 0 to 1. You might notice in every part of the summation that we have, we still have this x right here. So at 0 it's just going to vanish once again. And if you plug 1 to here, 1 to any power, it really doesn't quite matter, it's going to give us 1. Meaning we are going to end up with a sum running from k equals to 0 to infinity of -1 to the kth power over 2k plus 1 squared. If you want to write this out a little bit, you are going to end up, okay, if you plug 0 into here, you are going to get 1 over 1 squared minus, okay, those are all the odd numbers, 1 over 3 squared plus 1 over 5 squared negative ... It's kind of like this Euler summation that we did before a few days ago, but with squares down here instead of cubes. And this thing right here is called Catalan's constant, because Catalan... No, you don't write Catalan with a G in front. You write it with a C. Why would you give it the name G? This really doesn't make any sense. I don't know why some people do mathematical notation like this. You just don't do it. Why do you use in Fourier transforms and stuff like this, this weird as G? It's so annoying to write. Yeah, there was my little rage for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and there are many equivalent formulations for our Catalan's constant. So if you want to see more of this shit, never mind, I'm going to do more on this. More integrals for you boys? Then yeah, feel free to tell me so in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, recommend channel. If you like, if you want to support channel a bit more, you know, you can do it. Up until next video, have a flammable day. Love you guys, appreciate you. Ciao.
So, once again, good morning, fellow mathematicians. So I thought I might as well do something different this time. We are taking a look at Python right now, so I'm recording from this PC and I'm going to write this little script on this laptop right here. So what we want to do, we want to basically program something a little bit such that we can kind of approximate Catalan's constant a bit. So yeah, I hope that's interesting to you guys. After that, we are going to do something with Desmos, just plotting this little sequence a bit. So what we basically want to do is, yeah, create something at first. So a new file, that would be good. And why not define ourselves a certain function? So define, for example, Catalan, cat, le cat of A. Okay, how can we do this? Well, it's defined as being a sum. So why not start off with setting the start of the sum, for example, c being equal to 0, for example, the Catalan constant being equal to 0 at first. We are going to define it like this. And then we want to set how many iterations we want to do. So just imagine having those partial sums running from k equals to 0 to n, for example. So that's our n, yeah. Then we want to use a little for loop. So for n in range, okay, let's see, we're going to start from 0. The sum runs from 0 to our number of iterations then. So yeah, in range 0 to, let's say it depends what we plug in then. I said it's going to be a, Catalan of a, then to a plus 1, because if you do the for loop, then it doesn't really go to a, but instead to a plus 1. Okay, now we want to define ourselves the sum, meaning we are going to start off by, we have those alternating terms, so -1 to the nth power in this case over 2 times n plus 1 squared. Okay, this is what we have. So we are going to take our c, and we are basically going to add to this c once again the next member in this summation, meaning we are going to have, okay, at first we are going to have -1. Okay, I have to write those with asterisks. I haven't done anything in Python for ages. So to the nth power in this case, over. Okay, now we have to make a little float right here. Because integer really wouldn't do in this case. So float. And then we are going to have ourselves the 2 times n plus 1. But the whole thing's squared then. Okay, this is what we are going to have right here. And then I want to, let's see, we are going to do a little print right here just to see if everything turns out. So print our c then, and then I want to return the c actually. Okay, so this is our function, and now we are going to make a little input. So input and then integer, yeah. We want a little integer input because we can't really do 3.5 iterations. That's nothing we want. And yeah, how many iterations? Double dots, and yeah, this should actually do the trick. And then we want to print ourselves cut of a. Yeah, and I have to give this input right here also a certain name, so that's something we need. Yeah, a is actually our input. Okay, run module. Yeah, I want to save it, so let's save it on the desktop, Catalan. And let's see if it turns out any good. So, what actually have I forgot? Oh, integer input. I'm terribly sorry. I totally put it into the wrong order. This doesn't make any sense otherwise. Okay, let's say 1.0 iterations. I'm still using Python 2.7, so that's an old version. Okay, after just one iteration, we're going to end up at 0.8 something. Let's run it again. Let's go to 5 iterations, for example, 5.0. We're going to end up with approximately 0.912. Okay, but that's not good enough. Let's run it another time, and I don't want to print this all the time. We just want the final partial sum, basically. So let's make it run to, yeah, I don't know, 1 million, for example. This can take a second. Let's see. Okay, and this right here is actually kind of approximation for Catalan's constant, so that's actually already quite good. And those decimal places should actually be right. And now we are going to go for Desmos a little bit. I've never done too much with Desmos. Actually, I'm barely ever using it because I don't like visual stuff, but I just typed in Desmos series and sequences, and yeah, there's already this example stuff right here, and we are just going to make use of it. So let's see. Let's get rid of some stuff right here. I don't actually want that. Yeah, let's define our sequence. Our sequence is actually just a sum running from n equals to 0 to capital N in this case, yeah, and that's exactly -1 to the nth power over, no, not this type of over 2n plus 1 squared. Okay, this right here is our sequence. Let's see, I don't think that we actually need this right here. Right. Up here, this n really doesn't make any sense because we are using n as the running index right here. That's not good. Oh, there we go. You see, that actually did wonders, yeah. And up until 1000 iterations. And let us zoom in a little bit. So you see, this right here is, yeah, basically just our sequence being plotted over the natural numbers. So you see, and at first, after the first iteration, it was 0.888, the same we've got with Python. And yeah, then it's alternating, and after a few hundred iterations, we actually reach a point where it kind of gets to a good approximation. So we can actually advance this to 1000 places. So you see, it's always going to go around 0.916 something. Yeah, so that's actually pretty quite cool. So here's a little plot. You see it's going to converge to kind of a good approximation pretty quickly. Yeah, I hope you did like this little excursus into plotting and programming stuff. I'm actually pretty much out of practice when it comes to Python. I'm terribly sorry for that, but I hope you did enjoy the video. Love you guys, appreciate ya.